Hey YouTube, Silverback here again, going over the mono black deck that we built in our deck building for beginners video that we made. It's essentially the same deck from that video. If you haven't watched it, it's on screen now, except we, instead of going with the rule of 9, which is 9 play sets of 4, I instead chose to take out some of the extra legendaries and add in some things that I thought would help us a little bit more. The Dreadhorde Invasion and the Gutterbones for recursion. So we played 5 games back to back. I'm going to show all 5 of them now and give some commentary. This first one here, the starting hand, was a pretty easy keep with 2 knights. I would have liked to have had a 2-drop, but what can you do? So getting in with the knight here for some chip damage and playing another. As we all know and have been there before, I'm sure, idea is to keep 2 knights out, which we don't. But that's fine, we got to remove a lot of their hand. But we could have kept 2 knights up, pumped one, put counters on both of them, got them out of shock or stomp range. That's what I'm going to do here, is activate the ability, get it out of range to be killed by a 1-mana spell. At least make him hit me, and then use a skewer the critics if they have anything, but they do have something for 3 mana, 2 mana actually. Fire Prophecy, which I've been seeing more and more of lately. I don't know that I like that more than Scorched Dragonfire. I guess if you want to get a dead card out of your hand, I guess that is pretty good. I'll have to try it sometime. I don't play red too much, but I imagine if I'm going to be doing this channel, I'll be putting together some more videos and doing some different colors. I like Rankle overall as a card. He does so many things. Obviously, we don't want to lose our Rankle here, so I forego the sacrifice. We got 2 Ayaras, so we go ahead and discard 1, get a shock out of his hand. And I believe at this point, he has another Fire Prophecy, which is looking better and better to me every time I see it. Dreadhorde's good here, but I think we need to get the Ayara down, and then that way we can get a benefit off of Dreadhorde when it comes down. Right now he's really not pressuring us at all. We got cards out of his hand. He bounces the Ayara, which could be worse. I was thinking another Fire Prophecy. So 1 unknown card, we're in really good position here to get the victory. Lord Drakus. I was playing a Dimir Mutate deck that I'm sure I'll put on the channel here sooner or later. And Lord Drakus is a card that's underestimated. So again, I like the idea of wiping the board of his threats. Now obviously he can play down the Brazen Bower, which is fine. It's really a fragile card. It can't block. It dies to almost anything. And the opponent goes digging here. Doesn't like what he sees. Always feel good when you see the bottom, and that means there's a chance. You're telling me there's a chance. I don't like playing the Ayara here. It's gonna die. I'd rather get more value out of Grey Merchant, but if I had the choice, I think Grey Merchant's a good play here. And somehow we ping our opponent for 3. I was gonna say 4, but it was 3. Get him down to 8 life. At this point, the Fire Prophecy is looking more and more dead in his hand. Now here you can see I was going to play the Tymeret. You know, you have some choices there. I still got to respect the Fire Prophecy, but we go ahead and get in for 4. And then we play, again, respecting that Fire Prophecy, we play Tymeret because it'll survive. It says 2-3, but when it comes down, it's going to be a 2-5 when it counts his black mana symbols. The opponent sees it, and he can't compete, so he scoops up. So, a good showing there from Mono Black Devotion. It's, again, we threw it together quickly. We took out a copy of Ayara, a copy of Tymeret, 2 copies of Rankle, and 2 copies of Erebos for 3 Gutterbones and 3 Dreadhorde Invasions. Again, go watch the deck building video if you have not. You'll kind of see how we started with the rule of 9. I felt like I explained it okay in that video. There's some things I would have liked to have expanded on, but I think people will generally get the point, and you can comment in the comment section and ask questions, and we'll do our best to answer them. So on to game 2 here. Getting Gutterbones down early is always nice. And then a Dreadhorde Invasion, so we're showing a lot of damage early. And we have quite a bit of removal in hand. We're going to need 2 lands to get to the Rankle, but here's a surprising main deck card, Wilt. That was not something I expected to see. But it worked out for him. I guess in this meta with Theros being a recent set, getting rid of enchantments isn't a bad idea. We get Castle Locthwain here. Again, it's available in mono black. We had a few, so why not throw them in? Periodic card draw is never a bad thing. So our opponent's purely in a control, or seems to be in a control shell, and gets down the Nissa. Nissa is not good for us. So here, I go back and I replayed this. I almost think I ended up playing Rankle, but I think I should have just put the Mire Grasp on the land, hit the Nissa. But then if you see the play afterwards, Rankle would have been gone either way. They would have gotten Rankle out of our hand with their next play. Also, probably should have left the Gutterbones at home, I guess, because we end up losing both of them to this. Looking at, I don't feel like I did that probably the way I should have or could have. Again, watching what the opponent does here. He casualty kills our Rankle, gets rid of our castle, and then he animates. Well, he didn't have to animate anything, did he? He gets a card out of our hand, so that would have been Rankle gone right there. We would have kept, what, maybe a Gutterbones alive? If we would have Mire Grasped the first land. I didn't feel like we were out of it just yet. I felt like if we could get rid of the Nissa, the opponent had 1 card. We just needed to get a threat on the board, something like a Rankle. But our opponent has some pretty good plays. I mean, if you had 1 card left in hand or 2 cards, that's probably one of them you would want. So we get a 1-drop. Again, need to stay in the game a little bit longer is what I'm thinking here. So I believe I end up putting down the Murderous Rider for the lifelink. I can block the land and try to hold out just a bit longer, try to get 4 damage through. Also, if we have Murderous Rider on the board and we get a Merchant, which we're 2 mana off of anyway, but we could win that way. But it's starting to get out of hand now, with too much value being generated. Washer's done. If you heard the buzzer in the background. So we gain a little bit of life. We end up only taking 1 damage. And we get a Witch's Cottage. I kind of wish that would put the card back in hand. We put Rankle on top. And at that point, I was feeling really good. We can block with our 1-2, even pump it up and trade for a land. Now, this block, I don't think I did right. I could have blocked, and again, you'll see it won't matter. But I could have blocked not the blast zone, but the other temple, or, sorry, I can't see it from here, but the black-green land, and then made him blow up the blast zone in response. Instead, I blocked the blast zone, and then he blows it up in response. So, I feel like I should have done that differently. It could have bought me maybe another turn, but as you'll soon see, it doesn't matter. Because we get hit, and our opponent animates another land, activates the Hydroid Crisis, gets a blocker in the air for 5, gains the life, and finds the casualties of war. So it's all but certain here. Nothing we could do. I felt good about the Rankle until the crisis came out, and that's game. Even without it, I don't think we could have lasted. So on to the next one here. This starting hand was interesting to me. 3 mana, 4 2-drops. I haven't had a hand like that yet. Plus we draw into a 1-drop, so that could give us an early turn blocker. We'll see the opponent with the Barkhide Troll. I decide to keep the Knight. Hopefully I can keep it long enough to pump it. Try to get something out of the opponent's hand, maybe a land. Get him behind on land drops, or he gets rid of the 3 mana dinosaur. And he does have his 3rd land and a Yarvo. Now he's generating a lot of damage here. I do decide to block with the Fenlurker. It's done its job. I want to try to keep the Knight alive. We do have the mana to pump it now. Opponent decides not to block. I was hoping to get him to block with Yarvo and take it out. Looking back, if he wasn't going to block, I kind of wish I would have left him at home. But again, in the moment, you never know what your opponent's going to do. Sometimes you can bait out blocks like that. And now with the Vivian, it's out of hand. We need to draw something really good here. Respecting the Knight. He knows all about the Knight. Unlike the game that we played, not to keep going back to our deck building video, but you know, I do have 2 subscribers, and I'd like people to watch more videos. In that video, we played mono green. The 3rd land pretty much does it. It's all sewn up here. We really can't do anything at this point. Probably should have left 2 mana back so we could exile a card from our graveyard, get a life. Maybe we could survive this swing. But as it is, all our opponent needs to do is uptick Vivian, and that is it. So, not a good showing there. We were really missing a lot of our later game stuff. I might even consider going down to 23 lands, although 24, you hate to be mana screwed, but I think I hate a flood just as much. So on to, this will be game 4. So we're currently 1-2. We beat Isn't Control. We lost to a 3-color control planeswalker deck and mono green. This hand looks pretty good to me. The Witch's Cottage, hopefully we get another swamp before we have to play that. But I think we could do something with this. We got turn 1 and 2 plays. Maybe draw an Ayara and a land. We could have something to do every turn of the game. And it'd be nice if these things stuck around to the Gray Merchant. But you can't ever count on that happening. Our opponent taking a long time here. He must have alt-tabbed or something while waiting for the game to be matched up. But really, I was disappointed in the last game. The one before it was more heartbreaking, in my opinion. We really didn't have a chance in the last one. And he shows red to start, but no play from the opponent. So we get our knight down. Knight is such a good turn one play. If it can survive out. Runaway Steamkin. So try to bait the opponent into chump blocking here. Of course, that wouldn't work in a million years, but I mean, it's worth a shot. So here, again, I guess looking back, it's 2020. But the opponent doing stomp on our knight. Again, respecting the knight. Here, I wanted to call his bluff. I really was willing to trade there. I should have known he had something. That really, really hurt. That right there probably will cost us the game. Sorry about that. Yeah, that one miscue right there, that could very well cost the game. And then the only option we're left with after that is Gutterbones. We can get something back on the next turn. I'm not sure. The opponent must have some good options here, and Torbrand, yeah, he has some really good options. Gets in for the 4, and then he can go ahead and play Bone Crusher Giant. So, just beautifully played mono red deck. I mean, and then looking back, I should have took the knight. I really should have took the knight. I guess I was thinking if I can get Rankle down, get our opponent to sacrifice the Bone Crusher Giant, and then play down Tymeret, and I'd have a blocker with pretty good defense. Let's see what he picks. Discards a Bone Crusher. I guess it's no good against Rankle. And then he gets rid of the Steamkin. That's surprising, but I think we'll find out why. And that's because of the Ember Cleave. So with the +2, he does 7. And then just way 18 damage in one hit. One combat phase. So I didn't see that one coming. We already started this one before it hit the record button. But it was just land go for the first 2 turns. Dreadhorde Invasion, so we have a recurring threat. Plenty of lands. So we get our Tymeret down. We have a blocker now. And again, our opponent has things to do, but I think he's caught in between playing something and not having the mana to pump like he would like. So he's kind of stuck here. Looking at our Tymeret, seeing what he can do. And I think he's at a point where there isn't much he can do. So he passes, leaving up his blocker. We have a 2-2 and a 2-3 now, and the mana to cast Rankle. So we play the Rankle. Now here, looking back, I wish I would have left the token at home, the amass token, but again, 2020. We would have lost it anyhow, but I feel like we need to clear our opponent's board. I think we can survive a while with a Rankle, and we can get one of ours back with our Witch's Cottage, so I'm not afraid to get rid of Tymeret. Of course, we'll discard the swamp, where we have plenty of land to cast anything we get now. And now let's see what our opponent can do. He does have another land. He makes a food and a Wicked Wolf. Look at that. Perfectly played. I mean, that's the reason why I put that card in there, I'm sure. To generate the food for the Wicked Wolf. But we still have plenty we can do. We can get our Rankle back. And get down Ayara for a good show here. And we have a blocker. We don't mind losing our amass token here. We want to keep bringing in creatures. Ooh. I've seen that card get plenty of people back into the game. So I'm based off of our last 3 losses being 1 and 3 right now. I don't feel too good here, but again, we got Ayara, we got a consistent source of damage, and we got our Rankle back. Opponent's not tapped out. Got to remember he can tap that tree for 2 mana and gain life. But I feel pretty good right now. We can get in with the Rankle, hopefully, and get rid of the Wicked Wolf. Hopefully we can get in with everything. Yeah, why not? I think the worst he can do is the 2/2 flash creature that he seems to be playing, but he don't have it. And again, I don't mind sacrificing an amass token here, because that's kind of what we're looking to do. I don't want to discard Gray Merchant either, because that could really finish the game off for us. We'll see what the opponent has. If he has some creatures, we're... Kenrith's Transformation. Wow. You don't see that every day. And he has a goose. The trains are rolling now. It's just creature after creature. No, that's... Wow. I was expecting a lot more there. We get the ping from Ayara. We might as well go ahead and kill the goose. Rather not see that stick around. So bye-bye goose. That does put us a turn behind with our Gray Merchant. He would get down and hit for 8. So we could have won the game there, but I wasn't sure what he was holding up. Now I feel pretty good. He has 2 mana, 3 mana, and 7 life, and he gets down to Yorvo. And this is it. For the win, tapped out, Gray Merchant. Ping him with Ayara and finish him off with Gray Merchant. Hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.